Good day, guys. Austin here, and well, it's another HyperSpin setup. You can't get much better than that, can you? Now, in this setup today, we're going to be looking at the Game Boy Advance, and what a little thrill it is to be doing it too. Because to be honest, this was my little handheld wonder. Oh, the days! Oh, the days! Reminiscing back. Now, I loved this setup. I had the Game Boy. I never had the Game Boy Color. However, I did have the Game Boy Advance back in the day. The Game Boy was amazing. You know, it brought so many games into my life, and it really was the beginning for me of the whole handheld era. Amazeballs. Then the Game Boy Color came out. I don't know. I did like it. You know, I played it. I, in fact, had one later on, well after it was released. I think I bought it from a boot sale or something daft like that. But it was the Game Boy, but with colour screen. Yeah, very good. But I'm not really paying that much money for it. But the big development, the big thing that blew everything out the water at the time was the Game Boy Advance. I mean, its competition was obviously the standard Game Boys, no competition there whatsoever. And from the Sega point of view, during the days of the big rivalry, it was the Game Gear. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I fucking love the Game Gear. What an amazing little portable console it was. However, I would class it as not portable, because the Game Gear's batteries lasted about as long as you could stand on one leg. You know, you had to, it's classed as portable, but you had to be next to a plug and have a power lead, because the batteries do not last. However, this video is all about the Game Boy Advance and not the Game Gear. So let's actually focus, let's concentrate, let's stop the waffles, let's actually get stuck in and get this set up on our systems. Okay then, so pleased to say, as always, in the description down below this video, if you're watching it on a YouTube page that is, all the links that you need. So take yourself there. There's more than likely going to be a mega link. Now again, word of warning, if you've been watching my previous videos, Mega is going through a transition. In fact, it's going through a good transition. It's catching itself up to 2015, where it enables certain extra features rather than just downloading. Now, this does have a caveat in the kind of way that you may have to download a plugin or an add-on or whatever it is for your browser to be able to use Mega properly. So unless you do that, you may get an error or you may not be able to download properly. I cannot go into that with it for you. I'm going through enough here, actually showing you how to set it up with, you know, HyperSpin. At some point, I'm going to have to set you free to run along the internet yourself and actually do things for yourself. So, you know, if you've got any problems with Mega, then Google it, for God's sake. What I'm going to do now is show you how to set it up. So, again, download the Mega link, and you should end up with a folder, or a file should I say, similar to this. So we've got the Game Boy GBA pack 7-zip file. So we all know, or we should know by now, that a 7-zip file is a compressed file. So in order for us to use it, we have to decompress, uncompress, extract. That's probably a good word, isn't it? We have to extract the information from it to give it as usable files and folders. So because I use 7-zip to compress it, common sense would dictate that we use 7-zip to extract it. That's a good word. I should remember this for my future videos. So what we do is right click it, 7-zip, and extract here, and you should end up with a folder similar to this one. Now let's have a look what we've got. First off, the Simply Austin readme file. Jesus wept. Come on, let's get started on this file then. Basically, this file, as you all know, will smell of leather-bound books. There will be very wise words that's been passed down from generation to generation. Accumulation of years of experience will be poured into the information which is within this readme file. If you do not read what's in that readme file, I cannot guarantee that you will have enjoyment at the end of the day. You know, I can't guarantee it. I really can't. So it's your own peril that you ensure that you read this readme file. Enough of the readme. Okay then, so the bits that we're going to be using is the HyperSpin files and the RocketLauncher or HyperLaunch files. Basically, as you will know, HyperSpin now is, well, if you're on the 1.4 and the RocketLauncher version, it's split up into 2 different folders. We won't go into detail there. If you've done it, you should know about it anyway. So what I've done is I've split my media and the stuff that we need to set this up into the relevant folders to make it easy for you guys. So first off, get yourself to where we are now. Then take yourself to wherever your HyperSpin setup is. I'm still running on my external hard drive because my computer's going through the ringer. At this moment in time, I'm doing this on my laptop. Ugh. So anything could happen because this laptop is basically older than time itself. So I'm not even sure if it'll run the Game Boy Advance, to be honest. But we're gonna stick it out, see what happens. I'll be surprised. So yeah, take yourself to your HyperSpin setup. So as you can see, I'm on my external hard drive, got everything backed up. I've got myself a little game for us to test to make sure it's all working. I've got HyperSpin set up and my RocketLauncher folder. So first things first, let's go into our RocketLauncher and get this set up. Now, as you go into the files that we downloaded, go inside and you will see a media folder. Within the RocketLauncher folder itself, you will see a media folder. What you want to do is drag this bad boy over to your media folder. This will then merge. The folders will become one, and all that is within will be, I don't know, merged together. There we go. So all you need to do is press replace whenever it states it. And that means that basically all the fade images and all the bezel images will now be within RocketLauncher. So it will look nice when you load it up and when you're playing, if you do so wish. Okay, that's the RocketLauncher side of it all done. Let's go into a HyperSpin side of it. And there we go. So as you can see, in our HyperSpin folder, we have databases and we have media. In the download that I've provided for you, again, we have got databases and media. So common sense, highlight them both, drag them over, let them merge, let them become one, embrace each other in happy matrimony, and whenever it states, click yes. Please replace all these files and folders. It will take some time because I'm on an external hard drive. My computer is older than man. I'm not sure if I wound it up before I turned it on, so anything could happen. But yeah, that is now copying over. Once this is complete, we now have all our art, all our files and folders and everything put in situ for us to actually set this system up. I cannot guarantee how up to date this setup is. You know, I just copied this from the setup that I'm using. I've got no idea if things have been updated or whatever. However, I can guarantee that from my standards, this is a very good setup. You know, off the top of my head, I think I've got all the box art, I've got all the cart art, got some very good themes. What else have I got? The fade screen, the bezel, which I made. Amazing, by the way. All that good stuff is all included in there. I've got no idea. You can update to your heart's content. All the wheels are put in there, everything matches, everything's resized and put in the correct place and order. So once that's done, click replace. And yeah, so that's where we're up to basically. While that's copying over, I'm sure we can actually start getting stuck into our RocketLauncher side of it all. So in fact, we made a shortcut in our HyperSpin setup, didn't we? Right, so first things first, let's get this set up in RocketLauncher. So then we can actually launch the games, we know it's working and all that good stuff. Okay, what we're going to be using to actually run Game Boy Advance is the... What we're going to be using? RetroArch. Jesus. My mind. I'm getting so confused with all these systems now. Okay then, confirmation. No, I don't want to update because basically I just want to get this set up so I can show you guys. Okay then, as standard, we should already have Nintendo Game Boy already enabled as a default system as soon as you install HyperSpin, so there's no need to add it within HyperHQ. So right now we can focus on actually getting this set up so RocketLauncher can launch it. As we all know, RocketLauncher is the kind of engine that makes everything work, and HyperSpin is basically the bodywork that makes it all look good. So yeah, let's actually get the engine running. Okay, let's full size this so we can see what we're doing. At some point that folder's going to kick off saying well done, you've just done everything. Okay then, so Game Boy Advance. Let's first of all make sure, we should have this already set up. Let's go into Global, Emulators tab at the top, scroll all the way down, and we should have RetroArch set up. Now we'll know if it's set up because it won't have a little red mark next to it, and if we double click you will see that there's no red box surrounding the path, and basically it's pointing to wherever our RetroArch build is. Now if you haven't got RetroArch, then obviously link down below as per normal, and that will show you everything that you need to do to get RetroArch up and running. Once RetroArch is up and running, then you've got countless systems that you can install just off that one emulator, so it saves a lot of hassle. But we've already got this installed, so we don't need to focus on this. Now we can actually focus on the actual setup of Game Boy Advance. So take yourself from global to Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Still on the emulators tab. At this point, both of these will be blank. I was playing around with this a second ago. So just to take you through it properly, do you want to delete? Yes. I'm actually going to find the ROMs. As always, these can be anywhere on your system. I've got no idea where you keep all your games or ROMs. Mine at this moment in time are on my external hard drive within my games folder, and it should be in there. Default emulator that we're going to be using, there's loads of emulators for this, loads. And to be honest, they can all run it very well without any hindrance whatsoever. But for this instance, I'm going to use RetroArch because I like the shaders and the filters and things like that to make it run. I also like how I can get it to fit the bezel without any messing around. So double click on that, and that's it. Basically, that will now run. What we do need to tell it is it main settings? No, sorry. Settings itself. We need to tell it if our games are zipped or unzipped. Now, I cannot tell you this yay or nay because I don't know what games you have got. More than likely, they probably will be zipped up, so in that case, you would obviously put this to true. However, for the example, because I just downloaded this game to show you guys, this is not compressed. Jesus, head's not working properly today, guys. So I'm going to set that to false. However, if yours are compressed, i.e. if they're a 7-zip format, RAR, or what's the other one? Oh my god, I really have having brain farts today. Zip, RAR, or 7-zip. Jesus Christ. There's probably more, but they're the main ones that people use. If they're that kind of format, then obviously it's a compressed file or compressed games, so you set that to true. If they are more than likely going to be .gbc, as in Game Boy Color format, then obviously they will not be compressed, so you can put that to false, as I am now. Now, because this is a handheld system, when the screen is blown up to massive proportions, as in my 55-inch 4K TV, it looks a little bit pixelated, to say the least. So what I like to do is use a bezel. So go over to the bezels tab and set this to true. I've supplied one on your behalf. It should all be set up in Tickety View, ready to go. So we've got the fade set up. Are we going to do fade? Well, we'll see what happens as global. You know, we'll take the chance, but you can put it on if you wish, take it off if you wish. Normally you'd have all this stuff set up in global anyway. I've got no idea what the settings are on this because this has just been my test setup for the time being. So yeah, we've got 7-zip going, we've got bezel going. That should be good to go now, to be honest. I've already given you the databases that would have been transferred with our folder and file transfers. So when I click this, I should have a list of games. Obviously I've only got one game in here. Where's it gone? There it goes. So as you can see, it's good. Happy day so far because it's turned green. Now hopefully when I click the little rocket, it should load the game. I cannot guarantee it, to be honest though, because like I said, this computer is absolutely dog shit. But let's give it a go. Let's dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
Loading complete.
You gonna work? Yes, you are. And there is the bountiful bezel that I bestowed upon you. What a lovely bezel it is too. So as you can see, it just brings the screen a little bit smaller. It's a little loud, so we'll come out of there. But there you go. We've got it up and running. It's working. It's within the bezel. Same as always, guys. In fact, I'm going to load it up just to show you. Again, sorry. The volume will go off as soon as it's done.
Complete.
Come on. Come on. Start playing. Oh, it's got like the slowest loading time now. Right, press F1 as always. If you've watched the RetroArch video, then you will know that basically that's how you get into this menu. From this menu, what you need to then do is obviously start stretching the screen to fill the bezel, or to fill your screen, whatever bezel you want to use, whatever screen size you want to use. It's a case of going into settings, using the arrow keys. You press X off the top of my head. Is it X? Yep, X to press OK. Go down to video settings, custom ratio, and then basically you can start stretching everything to, well, to fit properly, to be honest. Once all that's done and you've got it fitted properly, I'm not going to do it now. Keep on pressing X to get all the way through it. Once you've done that, press Z to come back. Don't press escape, whatever you do, guys. Press Z to come back again. Save new config. So X to save a new config. Now that would have saved a config. However, the config name that it would have saved would be the incorrect name. So if you've watched the RetroArch video, what you need to do is take yourself to the configs folder, rename that to the name of the system as taught within the RetroArch setup guide, and that will save that setup permanently. And again, go in, you can play around with your controls, you can go in and put settings for your shaders, your overlays, and all that kind of good stuff, so you can get more of a, I don't know, Game Boy Advanced screen, if that makes any sense. So that is that. That's Game Boy up and running, Game Boy Advance should I say, up and running on our HyperSpin, our RocketLauncher setup. So now what we need to do is get it set up on HyperSpin. So we can exit out of here now because we know it works. Open up HyperHQ within our HyperSpin setup. Oh, come on. This computer is so slow. Sorry, guys. Okay, and you were greeted with a screen similar, if not identical, to this one. And what we need to do is navigate using the tabs on the top to, first off, wheel settings. Now, within the wheel settings, you should be able to find the Game Boy Advance. There you go, Nintendo Game Boy Advance. And you will be greeted with a screen similar, if not identical, to this one. What we need to do then is ensure that first off execution is set to HyperLaunch, PC game set to disabled. These can be left as is. What we need to do then is find the ROM path. So again, point it to wherever your games are. Now this bit is imperative, guys. Make sure you get this spot on. I mean, the game path's easy, but this bit is the bit that you need to be worrying about. Now, as we've talked about 1,000 times before, but I'm just going to go through it again, just in case. Wherever your games are, find out what... No, I told you GBC before, isn't it? It's not. It's GBA. It's Game Boy Advance, not Game Boy Color. Oh, Jesus. I've just ruined the entire video now because I got that wrong. But I'm not going to edit it. I'm going to leave it there so we all learn a lesson together. Okay, so there we go. We've got the ending. We know what the extension is. It's basically .gba. So I can put that GBA. However, in the future, I might then put my setup in there, which would then more than likely be compressed files. So to add more extensions or more game types in there, basically what I would do if there's more than one file type, I would put that one in without spaces, comma, no spaces again. So 7-zip, no spaces again, ra, comma, no spaces anywhere in this, guys. And then what's the other one? Oh Jesus, why can't I remember this today? Zip, that's it. Jesus, it's been a long day. Okay, so we've got the file formats, we've got the extension, we've got our ROMs. Now, if this is correct, when we go into here, no, not into here, into navigation and themes, we can click on this and it will be able to find our ROM, so it will only show us the games that we have. If that tab is set incorrectly with the wrong extensions or wrong ROM path, then basically it won't find the games and you will have errors. So we'll set up this tab by rear. I do want it to be wheels only. I want it to return to the last game because there's lots of it. It doesn't make any difference, there's only one theme in there, but you may have more, so I'm going to put that in there ticked. And I like to tick this one also. Going back to the wheel setting then, I like to draw this all the way down to 0. I like this to become vertical. I like this to be large at 400. I like that to be 240, as it will be as default once I change that to vertical. All this set as default, the way I like it. Okay, navigation of themes, just did this a second ago. Video, point this towards wherever your video files are for this. As always guys, I cannot give you the videos for it. You've either got to download them from Emu Movies, I don't know, you can download them from YouTube. There's different torrent sites with loads of videos for this. You just got to look for it yourself. I haven't got the bandwidth guys to upload all the videos, it's just too much. It takes me a day to upload, you know, just a normal media pack. Okay, sounds. Oh, for the love of God, why did I just turn this off as default? You turn it on if you wish to be tormented on a daily basis. However, I like to turn this off and never remember it ever again because it goes through you. Special art. Okay, if you have a 360 pad, follow my lead now. If you haven't, ignore this part of the setup. If you have a 360 pad, then please remember, if you have a 360 pad, follow this. Basically get rid of all this crap. I want that to be 500. I want that to be 384. I want it to come in for 1 second. I want it to go out for 1 second. It's already set to 3 and I want it to delay for 3 also. That should as default be set to fade and we should now be good to go. Basically what that will do is it will give us the icons at the bottom of the screen to show us the layout of our pad, so people that are unfamiliar with our HyperSpin setup will know what to do. It's just a helping hand. Okay, that is that. We should now be up and going. So by the gods of HyperSpin and goodwill, now when I go to load up HyperSpin, we should now have it up and running. Let's get in there. I'm excited, really excited right now. Please work, because this has tormented my head today. PlayStation took it out of me guys, it was a big one. Okay, it's loud, I apologize. Boom, there you go. Okay, so as you can see, I've only got one game in there because it's the only one that I set for the default. But as you can also see, it's a bit squished up because in windowed format, as I'm showing you now, basically it shows you by 4:3 resolution. When this is put to your normal widescreen monitor, 16:9, all the art and the boxes and everything that's in here should be perfect. Should look crystal clear in a very good format indeed. Now, as always, the little bit underneath the video where it says 2005 Namco Ace Combat Advance, go to the tips and tricks 2015 video, link down below as always. Now that will show you how to set it up so it looks good, matches the theme and is placed correctly within the layout, so it all looks good. As you can see, we've also got the little icons blowing up at the bottom, showing us what buttons to press on our Xbox 360 pad. And as I said, the videos, you gotta download them yourself guys. That's the one thing I can't help you with, I'm afraid, but everything else all good to go. So let's stop this. So that's it. That is Game Boy Advance now set up on our HyperSpin setup. I telling you what, we are knocking these down like no one's business at the moment. It's one that I've been wanting to get out of the way. Obviously, Amiga. Amiga. It will be coming. It will be coming. I cannot do this on my laptop though, I'm afraid, guys. So you're gonna have to give me a couple of days at least while I start messing around with my main rig, because I don't know. I started playing around with it and I shouldn't have done, and now it's basically in a lot of parts in the garage. So that is that. Thank you very much for coming over and watching the video. I hope that we all got set up today without any issues. My apologies for having so many brain farts today. Oh, it really has been a long week for me. Again, always make sure you share, like, subscribe. I'm not going to go into too much of a rant again about buying hard drives from these so-called legitimate pros who make pre-configured drives or computers. They don't work and you'll get ripped off. Trust me guys, you really will. Please again subscribe down below. If you are stuck with any games or you need any help, get me on my Facebook page. You can hit me up on the HyperSpin forums. If you want to set up all the systems, I advise you to go through the playlist that is on my Facebook page. It's set out in a logical order that will progress you through your HyperSpin careers and get you set up without any problems whatsoever. But thank you so much guys for all the support and everything that you've been doing. You really have been my rocks. We've climbed Mount Game Boy Advance today without any problems, thank God, apart from my brain farts. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. Laters.